Hey YouTube! So we're about to watch LazyPeon's review of Secrets of the Obscure, the new Guild Wars 2 expansion. Now, I have watched his work for a very long time. I am a big fan of his stuff, and he's extremely knowledgeable in the MMO scene, but I definitely saw some stuff in this video that I wanted to clarify in case there is anyone out there who saw it and might be interested in the game. For those that don't know me, I am Mukluk. I've made over 100 guides for Guild Wars 2, and I have played MMOs for over 20 years, but I have over 8,000 hours in Guild Wars 2 specifically. That's the introductions. Let's get into it.
The high fantasy MMORPG with large open world maps, a hybrid combat system, unique mount system, and horizontal progression featuring both PvP and PvE content that was initially released back in 2012. Recently, the game has just released its fourth expansion, Secrets of the Obscure, which has come only 18 months since the previous expansion, End of Dragons. Secrets of the Obscure brings with it two...
Now, we're touching on that really quick. So, End of Dragons, was their third expansion. And after that, they announced that they were going into a new expansion cadence. What they were going to do is release an expansion each year, but they were going to be smaller instead of a large expansion that took many, many years to develop, and then there'd be a lot of less content during that time period. So Secrets of the Obscure was the first smaller expansion of the new cadence, the new cycle that's coming out. So it is a smaller expansion compared to the third one.
Two new aerial maps which you'll be able to explore on your Sky Scale mount, which has new flight masteries that you'll unlock as you progress through the content. You'll face new enemies in the form of Cryptids, which are entering Tyria through reality rifts, which players will need to seek out and close for rewards. A new reward system has been added in the form of the Wizard's Vault, which basically gives you currency for completing daily and weekly tasks as well as achievements. Two new 10-player strike missions have been added, a new 5-player fractal dungeon, and probably the biggest change when it comes to classes is that elite specialization specific weapons are no longer tied to a single elite spec.
Yeah, that was actually a huge thing. The Weapon Master training is what they call it. And basically, like, for example, if you are a Guardian and you specialize into Dragon Hunter, you can use a longbow. But if you specialize into Firebrand, you can use a Flaming Axe instead. Now you could be a Firebrand with a longbow. Basically, any of the things that previously required a certain specialization is now available to the base class. Because of that, there's something like 80 plus combinations in the game that were not available that now are. Because basically every base class, so there are 9 base classes, such as Warrior and Ranger, things like that, and each one of them had 3 elite specializations, and every one of those elite specs got the weapons of the other 2. And then the base class got the weapons of all 3. So there's a lot of new combinations that really kind of flip the balance on its head, and they're working all those kinks out right now.
Which means there's much more flexibility when it comes to build creation. Previously, if you wanted to use a greatsword as a necromancer, you'd need to play the Reaper elite spec, but now that's no longer the case. In this video, I'll revisit Guild Wars 2 for a bit to see if the new expansion is interesting enough for me to want to stick around and play more. But first, today's sponsor, AFK Journey, a brand new game under the AFK games. The game's expansion was only like a year and a half. Thanks again, 23. It doesn't feel long ago since I last covered this game, as the End of Dragons expansion was only like a year and a half ago, but already the game has another new expansion, Secrets of the Obscure. So the last time I was playing this game, I was clearly doing a good bit of...
Now, right now, I know that LazyPeon plays a lot of different games. However, I immediately noticed that he's got 96 mastery points up there. Over here in the corner, bottom left corner, you can see that I've got 514. That's masteries are things that you unlock in the game. They are things that, like, while playing the game at max level, you unlock things like different gliding techniques, stuff that you could do in raids, different skills for your raptor, your springer, basically different skills that your mounts can pick up, stuff like that. So there's a lot of features in the game that he has not experienced and he can't even see yet at this time.
Transmog. Here's all my characters looking pretty good. Obviously gone with a similar theme. I think the last time I was playing this game in my spare time, I was doing Tempest PvP. And I think I decided this character was my new main, whereas in the past, the Warrior was my main. let's jump back into it. Here we
That
are.
warrior
Hanging out
looked
with
like
Lion's
Logan.
Arch. I love how my character looks. The big swooping cape, the giant book hammer. I'm really quite satisfied
Lore
with,
keeper hammer,
with
I
my
think.
fashion game. Open up my inventory, and I'm instantly overwhelmed. Random chests. Can't remember what I was really doing the last time I was playing this game. Probably world versus world.
So, to any people who might be thinking about picking up this game, yeah, there is a meme that some of us called it, Bag Wars 3. The game is extremely generous with loot. However, you can, here's my bag. If you look at this, see how I got a scroll bar? I currently have 404 inventory spaces. You can upgrade your bags, and you can also get additional bag slots for more bags. Like if I change the view here to show individual bags, this is what mine look like right now. Not the cleanest at the moment. I got a bit of a mess up here, but I still have another over 200 spaces left. So, yeah, this looks like a mess, but just know if you're thinking about getting into the game, you could upgrade those if you want to.
Probably SPVP. That's what I usually do when I play Guild Wars 2 in my spare time, but it has been quite a while. And I'm probably going to have to relearn how to play my class. Here we are at the Silver Waste training dummies. Let's open up Meta Battle and try and learn my class again. Catalyst Power DPS.
Oh my god. Okay. So Catalyst, I can't even play Catalyst. I just want to make that very clear. I'm not saying anything negative about him. I'm just saying that is quite a decision. If you are not playing this game on the regular, this is like the second hardest, in my opinion, possibly the second hardest class to play. So if you're not playing this on the regular, it's like coming back after a few years and trying to play the piano and then taking another year off. Like, it's a lot.
Yes. How many abilities is this rotation?
Yes.
This must be a complicated class. It's like a 25
Yes.
button rotation. Going through all of the elements, then you end up at fire and it's slightly different.
For newbie noobs, just real quick, you see, like, here's me in game right now. I'm going to close this. You see, this is my action bar. On an elementalist, he's playing an elementalist. You have a button, F1, F2, F3, and F4 are up here. One of them is fire, one of them is water, one's earth, one's air. And when you hit one of those, it changes all of these. So you have a 1 through 5 for fire, you have a 1 through 5 for earth, you have a 1 through 5 for air, and a 1 through 5 for water. And then all of them with Catalyst, there's a combo system. And again, I don't play it, but it's a lot to just like be playing not committedly.
Get learning, I guess. So open with this, into this, into this, this, switch to air, C, X, E, Jade Sphere, water, C, F11, 2, X, V, E, this one, back to fire. Okay,
so yes, he's mashing a lot of buttons, but I have no idea if he's doing any good. Because, like, what's on the screen right now, he doesn't have any boons. There's nothing here tracking his damage per second, so this isn't a DPS test, which is fine. I'm just commenting. And he's not currently taking any damage, so it's not a survivability test. So right now, I'm guessing that he's just trying to build some muscle memory, and that's it.
I think I've got it. I had to make a little document.
The flashbang. Oh wow. Okay, so he translated the rotation on meta battle into his keystrokes on a document.
To learn my rotation. Let's begin the secrets of the obscure. Seriously, on this character, I have never gone to Divinity's Reach. That's the annoying thing about Guild Wars 2. Like, it's such an alt-friendly game when it comes to leveling your alts to max level, but map completion isn't shared whatsoever across any of your alts, and I really wish it was. All of my map completion is on my warrior, but I've re-rolled away from my warrior. So if I was to
So really quickly here, what he's saying is absolutely true, and that's also his opinion, so that it's completely valid. He wishes that it was alt friendly. This is the world map if you have the whole thing opened up. You don't have to, but you are greatly rewarded if you wish to. There's a thing called world map exploration. Roughly what you see right here, is the world map without the expansions, roughly. The Heart of Thorns, the first expansion's over here. Path of Fire is the desert down here. End of Dragons is different continent way down here. We've even got a compass rose down here that moves us around a little more quickly. The Secrets of the Obscure is up here. Now, when you complete the map in a zone, you get a chest of rewards sent to you in the mail. When you complete the core games maps, like all the maps pre-expansions, you get these things called Gifts of Exploration, which are used in crafting legendaries, which is either endgame equipment or to be clear, it's tied for stats with in-game equipment. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. Or you can sell it for a crap ton of money. It's crazy. There are people that just make new characters, do map exploration, and then they will sell those gifts for just tons and tons of in-game money. So it's completely valid to say, like, oh man, I wish I didn't have to do this on each character, but there are also lots of people who love doing that. Okay, that's it.
Want to have that map completion again, I'd have to do it on my mage, which I don't want to do. Bunch of other players hanging out here. I guess they're all about to start this quest line as well, since the expansion has only just dropped. Check out some mogs. This guy looks pretty cool. Got the legendary greatsword, also looking good. Everything's matching with the blue hair as well. Just looks like a full set. Cringe. Cat girl. Yeah, I'm always down for cat girls, even though it's just a very like basic outfit. You've done good with what you've got. I can respect that.
Oh my gosh.
Let's begin. Surely this is going to be the last Guild Wars 2 expansion before they make Guild Wars 3.
No. As I mentioned, they've already announced that they're going to do an expansion each year. If a Guild Wars 3 came out, that'd be very interesting. I've got a whole nother video talking about that. I would be pleasantly surprised if they do that. I was playing EverQuest when EverQuest 2 was announced, and they announced it in a very poor fashion and just shot EverQuest in the foot. So I would be very surprised if they're going to announce Guild Wars 3 anytime soon. Not saying it couldn't happen, but they've already announced a new expansion for Guild Wars 2 every year, so know that they've already said that.
Surely.
Hey, Noxxi, thank you.
Is that Tammy's device? I suppose we'll call Tammy. Looks like we've just invented mobile phones. My character hasn't even unlocked the Kessex Hills. Mate, the struggles of playing on a new character. It's not even a new character. It's an old character that I just haven't done any map completion on. Other Guild Wars...
Also, there is a thing in the gem store, and before anyone's like, pay to win, you can trade in-game gold to become gems. That just, if you really hate doing map exploration, there's a thing you can get in the gem store with your gold that just gives you all the waypoints. If he wanted to. I'm guessing he just did not know that.
Those two players don't seem to complain about this at all, though, so it's probably just a me.
Because there's answers for this. So the people that there's one group of people that don't mind map exploration or enjoy it. There's another group that maybe they don't like it, but there's a thing in the game that just gives you all the waypoints so they don't have to do it. And I think he just doesn't know about that.
Problem. Everyone else is probably happy to do map completion on each character. They've got more patience than me. Okay, we need to sneak into the camp. There's little telegraphs to avoid. Little stealth mission. Alright, so we need to interact with a bunch of objects and avoid the guards. I'm hiding in the...
So there's only a couple of times in all of Guild Wars 2 where you do a stealth mission. And this is one of those times. I won't talk about anything spoilers, but this is early in the Secrets of the Obscure storyline. And it's get past, the cone is their field of view and you got to get past them.
Bush, you can't see me. Try grabbing the crate of supplies. Oh, we've got some kind of mage costume on. I look like a Final Fantasy XIV character right now. Okay, we've gathered all the information. If only my character could just AoE all of these down. That'd be hilarious.
Those are the good guys, Peon.
Okay, so now I can just run amongst them, no problem. They don't care about me being detected now, do they? Oh, what's this? The Eye of Sauron. Demons have popped out, okay. Defeat the demon. Am I on my own here? I suppose I am. Okay, let's go, big damage. Finish it, GG. We've just been knocked to Africa. Oh, we're getting sucked into the portal. Okay, hell breaks loose. Are we going to hell? I actually know nothing about this expansion, so if this is a demon-themed expansion, that'd be cool. And now we've been transported to Diablo 4. This looks like the final level where you go to fight Lilith. Hostile environment.
The main antagonists of the expansion are the Cryptis, which are kind of cousins to demons. So they are involved, yes.
You've entered an unknown realm with poisonous aura that negatively affects your energy levels and movement speed. It'll get worse over time.
Chat, he's got 12,000 hit points. Is he using a Jade Core? I think he's not.
Interesting. Glider. Yeah, this actually looks like the platform where you fight Lilith at the end of Diablo 4.
Okay, so chat's saying no. So in End of Dragons, which is the third expansion, there was a thing that everybody got called a Jade Core. And the Jade Core gives you a massive boost to your hit points. If you look in the background right now, the character I'm currently playing, let me go to an open world build. All right, this is a build that has 0 bonus vitality, none at all. And I have 20,000 hit points. He's currently playing this is a glass cannon build. I've got 20k health. He's doing a glass cannon build, but he's got 12k health. So no Jade Core is part of the thing there, but that means when he played End of Dragons, he probably only played a very tiny amount if he never got to the Jade Core.
Guild Wars 2 x Diablo collab. There's clearly going to be a boss fight right here, though. Like, look at this perfect boss fight platform.
Hello there.
Oh, hello. Yeah, literally.
Good at it.
Diablo. That's a cool looking character. Defend yourself. I'll try. Oh my god, I can't even dodge. I'm sure you're supposed to die. 100%
He's absolutely
you're supposed
right.
to die. We'll heal to full.
Fun fact, though, you can beat it. This is a scripted death, just like when you get your butt kicked at the beginning of Wild Hearts or Sekiro, you know, stuff like that. But also, if you happen to just be an actual gamer, note, I am not an actual gamer, you can just kill the boss right here, and it actually bugs out the instance because you're not supposed to be able to. Lord Eisen!
He's allowing me to do so. Okay, oh, and now he wants to resume fighting me.
Should have dodged to the left, because that beam goes
What the
counterclockwise.
fuck is this boss fight? You've got like no stamina bar, so you can't dodge things. You can dodge once and then that's it. Mate, just finish me if you're gonna finish me. Am I supposed to fight him or something? Just keep dying over and over. I think this is supposed to happen. Is it? Okay, it is. All of that was supposed to happen. Right. Guess we're supposed to hide? Mate, why didn't he just rip my bloody head off?
So, this is a bug, and this is kind of funny. When I did this, my character actually jumped into the hiding spot, was hiding in the bushes. I didn't just, like, kneel down with my butt hanging out, so that's actually funny.
Can't see me. John Cena levels of stealth. It's a bit scuffed, I'm not gonna lie. Just run straight to the portal. Is that the play? No, I'll hide here. Let's just go over here.
Now, why would you think that was a
can't
good time
see.
to get? Okay.
It's the hardest boss in the entire game. Alright, just beeline. Speed! Dodge! It's the worst. I think he's bugged. Okay.
To be fair, I don't like this either. Like, again, this was like they took a stealth level and shoved it into an MMO. It is kind of weird that it's there. I mean, it's not difficult. You just wait for him to walk away, move to the next bush, repeat, but it's time-consuming and annoying. It's true.
Okay. Okay, we got this. What a scuffed section of the game. Part of the obscure unlocked. So now I've got a new mastery system. Okay, an object of immense power enabling the user to interact with rifts between Tyria and other realms within the mists. Cool. So it seems like there's less
So right here, this is what I was talking about. So the masteries is how many features from other expansions you've unlocked. Like, he just got the first feature from Secrets of the Obscure. If I go into my game here and go to masteries, now of course he plays a lot of different games. I play less than that. If I go to my masteries, you see like I've got 514 spent, and this is how many leftover points I have. And again, this is leftover points, not spent points. These are remaining. Now, I've got all of them, so these are just like excess. He needs to spend some of these. Like, that means he's actually got 13 mastery points in End of Dragons that he hasn't spent that could be, you know, possibly making his character stronger in various ways. 15 for Path of Fire, stuff like that. This is kind of like unspent talent points in a way. But let's continue.
masteries of this expansion compared to End of Dragons and the other ones. There's still quite a few. The graphics on Guild Wars 2 are starting to look a little bit out of date, like the textures and the lighting in these kind of areas. The game is...
I actually think he's just got his graphics turned way down. Because this is mine. And there is an add-on called Reshade that makes the game look even better, and I'm not using it. This is the game graphics turned up to... What are mine on currently? Between... I got shadows on medium. Everything else is between medium and ultra. But yeah, this is what the game looks like with what's the command? There we go. This is what the game looks like with, you know, nothing extra, without add-ons. So yeah, he's right. This does look kind of scuffed, but I think his graphic settings are pretty low for this.
Is certainly starting to show its age in 2023. The visuals on this area, for example, looking quite old. I really do believe it is time for Guild Wars 3. I think Guild Wars 3 would be pretty huge. Anyone who's ever tried Guild Wars 2 is realistically going to try it. It's a cool looking area. This reminds me of the Mists, Edge of Mists World vs. World map. ArenaNet presents Guild Wars 2 Secrets of the Obscure. A little bit scuffed that the NPCs are talking in the background of that.
Agreed.
Usually if you can have like a title screen on the prologue of an expansion, you can have like a bunch of build-up, epic music. It's usually at the end of an epic moment. Whereas this one was just randomly placed in the middle of a quest with NPCs talking in the background. No climax whatsoever. Text placed over some random floating
Hold on a second.
island. It felt a bit low budget. Here's where the game introduced Rifts, a new open world event for this expansion.
Okay, so at this point, he's no longer talking live. He's you know, just showing footage of the gameplay with him talking in the editing room.
Essentially, press a button to locate the rift, travel to it on your sky scale, kill a bunch of mobs until a boss spawns, seal the rift, and get a bunch of rewards. At this point,
I find that really odd. Hey, Twix. I find that really odd because all the footage he just showed had nothing to do with rifts.
Kill a bunch
So kill a bunch of mobs. He is killing a mob, but he's not killing a mob at a rift.
of mobs until a boss spawns, seal the rift, and get
And then that's a reward from turning in a quest. That's not a reward for closing a rift. So he is talking about rifts, but the footage he's showing is of a completely different thing.
a bunch of rewards. At this point, I decided to take a break from the MSQ to explore the new map.
So this part, he said he's taking a break from the main story quest line. Totally fine. However, he's only like 20 or 30 minutes in. Like he literally just got into the first new zone, and he's like, okay, that's enough of that.
Map and attempt map completion. One thing I noticed right away was how diverse the biome is for the first map. You've got floaty islands with dinosaurs, a futuristic city, a snowy area, and a massive island with a wizard's tower.
It is. It's the first map is quite cool. It's different chunks of different places in space and time that are floating next to each other because wizards have no moral compass, and they have done a lot of experiments over time. And yeah, all those bits he just showed, the futuristic city, the icy area, the desert area, those are all actually part of the same map.
Aside from the Wizard's Tower, Secrets of the Obscure also comes with a new UI element called the Wizard's Vault, which looks like a battle pass at first glance, but it's not monetized, and it gives various rewards by completing daily and weekly tasks in both PvE and PvP.
So to show that in the game really quick, there is the Wizard's Vault here, and I'll open mine up. So the Wizard's Vault, if it'll open, come on. Oh, there we go. Okay, I was just impatient. There must be a lot of people online right now. Okay, so you've got daily, weekly, and special tabs, and when you collect any of these, it gives you this this currency called AA, or and you earn that by doing any dailies or weeklies or special events, which give an absolute crap ton of it. And when you get it, you can then go to this little shop here and spend it here. So as I said, it looks like a battle pass, but it's completely free. They replaced the daily system with this for the most part. You can get different skins for your mounts, different skins for equipment that, in the past, people would think, oh, I need to go to the gem store for this. But no, it's all in here. And it's a system that a lot of people, myself included, were nervous about when they first announced it, but after it's come out, it's been, I think, decently well received. Like right there, Ascended Armor, that's endgame armor. That's an endgame weapon. Like you can actually do dailies to get a weapon with endgame stats that you could just never replace if you want to. There's a lot of good stuff in here. Okay.
Which seems like a net positive and an additional thing for players to work through for extra rewards. Alright, we'll play some more of the story. It's got like 10 NPCs all talking over each other. What a headache.
I 100% agree with Peon on this. I had the same issue here.
Mate, NPCs, shut the fuck up, please. Tell me what to kill. Okay, let's find the next rift. Use our device. Next one's over here. Okay, I can see it in the distance. At least the game feels like an MMO. There's plenty of other players running around doing these events with me. Close the rifts. Now we can continue with the MSQ. Simple stall unlocked. What? New expansion feature. Equipable chairs. Is it in mounts? Chairs.
Okay. Really quickly, that's not a new expansion feature. The Novelties tab was added, I believe, in 2018. So that means that it's been there for over like 5 years. So really quickly, like here's my character, and there's a bunch of tabs here, and there is one called Novelties. And Novelties has chairs, like this is one that has a robot that serves you ramen noodles. This is one from actually a raid boss that is just, you show it off, kind of like your people in WoW will show off rare mounts in town. You can just sit on your butt on this and show this off. There's a ton of chairs in here. Also under Novelties, there is instruments that play actual music. There's actually a very famous band in Guild Wars 2 where they will play the instruments because they are good at that. There is toys, and there are tonics that change the appearance of your character, make you smaller, make you larger, turn you into a genie, stuff like that. Just cosmetics. They're all fun things. But yeah, this stuff is all at least 5 years old, maybe older. So it's just a fun thing, just like how, World of Warcraft has miniatures. We've got miniatures also, and we've also got all of that stuff I just showed you.
Oh, there's all these cosmetic chairs now. That's genius by ArenaNet. Another form of cosmetic to flog on the cash shop. Equipable chairs, 400 IQ monetization. You can have a turtle chair if you want. Not only do you now need a mount skin to match your fashion game, you also need a chair to match your fashion. You can't have the default stool, because if your character sits on this, everyone knows that you're broke. If you go on an E-date with a girl in Guild Wars 2 and you whip this bad boy out, she knows you're broke, and she's just not going to hit you up in the DMs again. It's over. You have to at least spend some money on a decent chair. They've added a bunch of...
You don't have to spend any money. You can... One, some of those chairs are on the cash shop, which again, you can use in-game gold to buy anything on that shop. Or two, many of them are rewards from like different locations in the game. Like I showed you the one that comes from a raid boss.
New stuff. This whole novelties tab seems to be new. So now you can equip chairs, musical instruments, held items, toys, permanent tonics. The Guild Wars 2 fashion and collection game has certainly gone up a notch. Let's get off my brokey
Since
boy
2017.
chair and get back to the action. This person's character looks super cool. How have they got that purple outline?
It's an infusion. There are these things called infusions that you can get. Again, going into my... Hi? My cat just walked in. Going into the game, like this person has this like white smoke coming off of them. This person over here has this like rainbow hue coming off from them. These are infusions. It's considered to be like an end game fashion thing. They do give very minor stats, but we're talking like you've got 1,000 strength and the infusion will give you like 5 more strength. But it also will, give you one of many different cosmetic things. There's one that makes your skin look like wood. There's one that makes your body look like it's ice. There's one that makes a trail of bees follow you. That's a purple outline infusion.
This person's character looks like a god. 10 out of 10 fashion. Now we've teleported somewhere else. Now we're gonna have to fight Dagda. And I'm already like almost dead from I have no idea what. I've just got like no survivability and I don't understand why. The fight with Dagda had me confused. For whatever reason I felt like I was lacking sustain or I overlooked a special mechanic. But for whatever reason...
So, well, I'll let him finish.
Then I was taking tons of damage. I died a few times, but the game allowed me to just body throw until the boss was dead. I think my build isn't optimized for difficult solo bosses, or I was caught off guard by the random difficulty increase, considering I hadn't really struggled with any other mobs up to that point. At this point, I got bored of following NPCs around and listening to them.
So, again on that fight, a couple of things off the top of my head. When he showed his hit points, which we can see right now, we know he's not using a Jadebot core, which was a major... It was the new equipment slot from the previous expansion. So his is probably still empty. That gives a few thousand more health. We know he hasn't spent his mastery points, which probably wouldn't affect combat at all, so I think that's okay for this situation. It's mostly like, new mount skills and stuff like that. Then there is also the fact that, again, when he was testing his damage on that target dummy earlier, he wasn't doing a DPS test, and he also wasn't doing a survivability test. It was just... like he was hitting the buttons from the guide he found, but we have no idea how well it was doing. We don't know that it helped. Because like, for example, there's some skills that when you hit them, they're giving you barriers and shields every time you attack, which help you survive, or heals. Hi, Hironoto. So I honestly have no idea how effective the build he's playing is, even when he's playing perfectly. And then on top of all that, most of the stuff she does is avoidable. Like that, there's a big red circle. You move out of the red circle.
The mobs,
it showed like
the throw. For whatever reason, I was taking tons of
the projectiles. Like these
died.
things, you would just either move between these things or get out of the cone. Obviously, he's already downstate here. I'm just showing this as an example. But yeah,
really struggled with any other mobs up to that point. At this point, I got bored of following NPCs around and listening to them talk to each other, as well as going through the same map completion MSQ mastery farm formula that the game's had for the past decade. So I decided...
I'm actually curious, where am I? I'm 14 minutes in. Where's the part where he relearned how to play his character? Let's see, that... Okay, it was right here. Did it show which video he looked at? Catalyst Power DPS. Okay, hang on a second. Meta Battle Power Catalyst DPS. Let me see if I can find the exact same build. Catalyst Power DPS. Okay, got it. All right, let's take a look at this. This build is updated. Fast-paced build provides melee damage to sunlight fury resolution for your group. Hammer's the best weapon. It's actually hammer. It's comparable. And sword warhorn rotation. During the loop, the spheres. I think this is meant to be a glass cannon build for when you're running with a full party. So, for example, like if you're with a group and you've got, if you're coming from another MMO, like you've got a tank with you, you've got a healer with you, and you can just go, glass cannon, you just absolutely, focus on that one thing at the cost of all survivability. I think that's what he's playing. So because of that, when he fights a mob that is, anything above the standard level, he would have to play perfectly to not just get popped like a balloon, because he's foregone all forms of defense for this. Okay, continue.
Fire, and it's slightly different.
Let's see, we were 14, 20, I believe.
So I decided it was time to remind myself why I actually do like Guild Wars 2, and I queued for some SPVP. Let's queue for some PvP, see if it's still fun. It used to be fun.
Now, this part kind of confuses me because, well, to be fair, the video is called Guild Wars 2 in 2023, but this is not related to the new expansion at all.
Average queue time, 2 minutes. I mean, I'm playing at like peak EU time right now. Oh, we got a game. 4-minute queue. Skyhammer. Alright, let's see if I can remember how to play Tempest. Basically stay around your team and pop boons on them. Let's do it, team.
Hold on to your points. Seize theirs.
Pop some heal.
Tempest is the only elementalist spec I can play. It requires many less brain wrinkles than Weaver or Catalyst does.
That's for the team. Knock this person down. Pop this. Nice, put some lightning out. Back into this mode. Pop this down. That's some stability. Heals. Big heals on the team. I think we're doing okay. Well, I'm not even looking at the score. What team even are we? A red team.
Red.
We are actually winning. That's good. Let's go down here with the res. Big heals. Big heals. Ah, not quite. With the zaps. Gonna die here. Let's escape. Jump. Jump. Mist form. Get out. MLG
I'm surprised
escapes.
we got out of there.
Rock thing. Invincibility. Chips.
Yeah, that's a problem I have as well. Again, with Elementalists, you have more buttons than every other class. So sometimes, when you're under pressure, you forget, like, okay, I need to hit F3, go into rock mode, and then weapon skill 4 will save me. Sometimes it's, without a lot of muscle memory, it's hard to remember all of the many, many options you have.
Misform. Can the team get off the res? Should be able to. There's the rally. How did we survive that? Oh, we kind of didn't. We can't. Come on, get the res.
Also, he leaves Earth 5. Yeah, he turned the invulnerability on, and then he turned the invulnerability back off a second later. But again, it's his first game back after a really long time, so you're going to make mistakes.
There's the healer. Yes. Big heals. Objective player. Big AoE. Lightning.
Honestly, this is a better PvP game
Press
than I've
every
ever
button,
recently.
because why not? Finish it. Sit. And there's the win. Feels good. We did a lot of healing. 300k healing. Did decent damage as well, I think. That was fun. Yeah, that's why I enjoy Guild Wars 2. The PvP. I needed that little reminder. The vast majority of my hours in this game is either in SPVP or in World vs. World, like doing massive fights. Like, that'll never stop being fun to me. So as much as I can't stand the whole story-driven campaign stuff, the PvP is always going to be fun. It's always going to be a reason to play. For me, anyway. I know that I'm in the minority there. Most people hate PvP in MMOs, but Guild Wars...
Although I do believe his statement that he is in the minority about, I think that's true in any MMO. Like, if you look at how many players play World of Warcraft and then how many players play World of Warcraft and enjoy the PvP in it, it's going to be a minority. It's going to be less than 50% of the population, probably. I think that's correct. But still, it is a very large amount of people enjoy PvP or World v World, even if it is smaller than the total player base number.
2, very fun. Also, accessible before even being max level, for the most part, so... Do I have any world?
Yeah, to touch on that, PvP in this game, if any of you are new, when you take a level 2 character and go into the PvP lobby, it scales you to maximum level and gives you all skills unlocked that you should have. So, like, for example, if you own all the expansions, it'll give you everything. If you own none of the expansions, it'll make you max level and give you all the core skills, but not the expansion stuff that you don't have unlocked. So if you've ever played an MMO and you're like, oh, I want PvP on a Necromancer next season or whatever, you don't have to level a new one in this. You could just make an alt character, go through the tutorial, which takes like 30 seconds, and then that can be your PvP character until you wish it not to be. You don't have to actually level on it at all. And when you're in the PvP lobby, there is a system in the game, which I will show real quick. I'm going to open my inventory here and go to gear. You see there's this is a standard and this is PvP. And you can just click on this and choose what stats you want on your PvP build. So this basically simulates a full set of gear. And the same thing for like runes and sigils. So you don't actually need the equipment in there. You just choose from a drop-down menu for equality's sake. Now that's for PvP, not for World v. World. World v. World, all your hard-earned gear you get to take in there with you, which might give you some small advantage against your opponents if you've gotten something you've worked really hard for.
World vs. World characters. Probably my Scourge. So right now I'm trying to rebuild my Scourge for World vs. World. So I'm going to buy one of these new relics. Just...
Okay, so really quickly, everyone, you see the flashing mail icon up here? Everyone got a mail at the start of this expansion that said, hey, we added relics to the game, and so because these are brand new, we have sent you 3 crates full of relics right here. This box, if he clicks on it to open it, will have a menu and it'll say pick whatever relic you want, you can have 3 of them. So what he just did was it's per character. So his fighter had 3, his elementalist had 3, he's on his necro now, that's 3 more. So what he just did is he opened up the shop and then bought one from somebody else instead of just opening the box, or he didn't see the mail or the box.
One more thing to add to your character. Okay, so now we're fully equipped. I've got my World vs. World build, we should be good to go. Let's try and find the action. Here's my War Claw. As you can see, I swiped and bought a skin for it. Well, that's a crazy War Claw skin. Let's see if we can remember what to do. I'll put some AoEs down, try and do some damage, I guess. Let's do what I do best, put AoEs down. Getting those World vs. World rewards. What am I at now? World vs. World 170. Fair few talent points to spend. Reduce the siege damage you take, that's probably useful. Quite a lot of useful things here. I'll take this one, Siege Bunker. So it's like a fun little fight. Let's put some circles down, shall we?
If any of you end up playing World v. World in the future, highly recommend getting your Warclaw training and auto loot first. The ability to automatically get the loot from anyone that you kill and not having to walk over and click on it is invaluable in these mobile fights.
Without standing in circles, preferably. I'm going to get the res. I'm going to clutch me with the res. Oh, you legends, come on. There it is. Good job, team.
There
got
it
some
is.
siege weaponry set up. Fun little skirmish we've got going on here. Big damage. Yeah. Oh, nuked. Wow, the axe deals some serious damage now. That's actually quite a fun little skirmish.
I don't know that axe has gotten any stronger from any patches in the last few years, but yes, it is still a go-to weapon for power builds on Necromancer. Very popular choice.
Through the gate.
I clinch.
We just got nuked by a bloody catapult. Can we live?
Oh my! Did you see that? There was like 3 or 4 downstate teammates there, right there, and he's just like, "Well, sucks to be you."
Catapult. Can
he just leaves.
Probably not for long. Okay, we run. This person's like naked. I've never seen fashion like that before.
That is a outfit. So there's these things in the game called outfits. And if you put one on, like here's one for Balthazar, if you put one of these on, it replaces everything from head to toe. Here's a maid uniform that someone gifted to me, so now I own this. I'm sorry. What he saw just a second ago was Starborn. However, you can wear this or any outfit, and then you can go into equipment and uncheck hat to turn your hat off, and so you get the outfit from the neck down. Starborn is very popular among human female players.
Oh, but that's really cool. That is one of the coolest outfits I think I've seen. I want to log on to one of my other characters. So this used to be my main World vs. World character here. And then I've got this one, Healer Flames. I love how this character looks though. I've got the giant harp, big old pair of titties as well. Always enjoy playing on my dragon.
PG stream, by the way.
So after revisiting Guild Wars 2 for a bit, my pros and cons haven't really changed too much from the last time I played, other than the addition of a few cons, as I've realised why I never really stick around with Guild Wars 2 for very long. Pros: decent combat, good storytelling, decent non-pay-to-win business model, very unique mount system, lots of evergreen content, solid mix of both PvP and PvE, alt-friendly game, epic meta event bosses, friendly community, great soundtrack, lots of horizontal progression, lots of completionist content, and the top-tier transmog and fashion endgame.
So on this, I agree, these are all awesome things. Like I support this game a lot with video guides, stuff like that. Decent combat. I think this is going to be based on opinion, of course. If he likes something and I don't like it, that doesn't mean he's wrong. It just means we like different things. Good storytelling. I'm surprised to hear him say that because he only did the main story quest for like less than an hour, and then he said he was sick of it. So I'm actually surprised to hear him say that because I thought he hated the thing. Decent business model. I think it's a very fair business model. Anything on the gem store you can spend in-game gold on instead of dollars. And if you want to just swipe and spend dollars on stuff, you can. It's not a power system. It just gets you, maid outfits and things like that. That's why everybody's fine with it, because it doesn't hurt anything. Unique mount system, as one of the best mount systems, has very unique mounts. I've gotten a lot of people to play this game from other MMOs because of the mount system is so good. Evergreen content, it is all evergreen because they never raise the maximum level. The maximum level has been 80 forever, so anytime they add something new, that's just one additional thing you can do at max level without invalidating the old. Like, you don't go back and solo Tempest Keep after another expansion. It's still max level content. Solid mix PvP and PvP, old friendly game. It is like nearly all gear is tradable. Sorry, let me rephrase that. Nearly all gear, you can put it into your bank and trade it between your characters. So if you decide, you know what, I don't like Necro, I want to be a Mesmer main, you can put most of the gear that Necro had that the Mesmer can use into your bank and then just pull it out of the bank on your other character, and they're mostly decked out. Epic event bosses, yes. Friendly community, absolutely. Like, what if I yell in map chat in this game and I'm like, hey, where is such and such? I almost always get the real answer. If I do that in the Barons chat and WoW, someone usually tells me how my mother's doing. Soundtrack, horizontal progression, yep. Completion content, yep. Top tier value, yep.
Game. Cons. Visually, I think Guild Wars 2 looks quite outdated nowadays. It's a difficult game to get into for new players due to being so different to other MMOs. The game isn't fully open world, which hurts immersion due to many loading screens. PvP seems to be an aspect of the game that's been ignored by the devs for a long time. Map completion isn't account-wide. If it was, I'd probably play the game more because I can't fully decide on a main, so I just don't bother with it anymore. The horizontal progression, whilst can be considered a pro and a reason why so many people play Guild Wars 2, does result in the game not being very addictive, and me personally quitting to play other MMOs with more satisfying vertical progression linked to character power. Now for the biggest issue I have.
Okay, so really quickly here, hold on. I'm gonna go back to where the full, hold on a second.
Other MMOs.
Okay, so visually outdated, again, I think his graphic settings are just on bad, like, again, this is me without running Reshade. Reshade is an add-on that makes everything look even sharper. This is my game without running any add-ons related to visuals.
Wow. If it isn't the consequences of your own actions.
Terrible timing, Valeris.
Oh, roll initiative.
Okay, sorry, my patrons get special sound effects. Okay, visually outdated. All right, so visually outdated, I honestly think, if you don't like the graphics, that's fine. You know, you can look at a game that's brand new and be like, I don't like these graphics, I don't like the design choice they had. But as far as how his run looks looking at this video, I think his graphic settings are turned down. Difficult to get into. I could agree with that one. I would not say it's like hard to get into, but it's absolutely possible for people to get to max level and still have no idea what they're doing. The game does not have a very strong tutorial, which is why people like me love making guides for the early game to help people out, because the early game, like very, very early, it's like, all right, well, here's our open world, have fun. You're like, but what do I do? And they're like, have fun. So I could get behind that statement. Not fully open world. There are loading screens, yes. So for example, if I go here, like Gendarn Fields is this rectangle right here. So if you cross into that, that's Harathi Highlands. If you cross into that, that's Queensdale. There is a loading screen. There are loading screens. They're very fast loading screens, but yes, each zone does have its own loading screen. You can't just get on a Griffin Mountain fly across the entire world in one go. PvP has been neglected. Sadly, I have to agree with this a little bit. They have not added any new PvP game modes or maps in the last few years. However, PvP does get drastically changed every time they add something new. Most recently, weapon specialization. You may remember earlier I mentioned that there's like 80 plus new weapon to class combinations because of the Weapon Master training. Oh my, PvP is completely different now than it was over a month ago because of that. There's so much stuff that people have never seen before going in there. And because of that, there's been a lot of balancing that they need to do too. Because if you suddenly give a ranger the Soul Beast dagger, that's not that overpowered. That's just a new option. But then there's other combinations, like a Willbender using a Dragon Hunter longbow that is just like, occasionally one-shotting people, and they're like, okay, that one's going to need a nerf. But again, there was like 80 new combinations. So map completion isn't count-wide. That is correct, but again, the reward for doing map comp is insanely large and profitable. And then if you don't want to do it, there is a thing in the the gem store, which again you can buy with gold, that gives you all the waypoints. So if he really hates it, I would recommend to him, if he ever sees this, to just get that, and then you don't have to worry about it if you really don't like doing that. Too horizontal. I mean, really, that's part of what keeps many people that play Guild Wars 2, I would hazard a guess that they like the horizontal progression. Like, you can, if you have just life take over and you can't play for a few weeks, few months, and then you come back, you're not out of date. Yeah, you might be rusty and you got to remind yourself how to play, but you're not out of date. Your gear is still relevant. You don't have to go grind 57 dungeons to catch up to everybody else. The zones that you were in aren't dead now because everybody's moved on from Hellfire Peninsula on to Ice Crown or whatever the new expansion is. So I think that the horizontalness is what makes Guild Wars 2 great. Most of the people that like it, they love it for that reason. But again, if you don't like it, that's fine. We're going to have different opinions on that.
With more satisfying vertical progression linked to character power. Now for the biggest issue I have with Guild Wars 2. With horizontal progression being the character power. Now for the biggest issue I have with Guild Wars 2.
Okay, he was equipping the relic.
With horizontal progression being a major focus of the game, there's a lot of different stack...
Wait, did he buy another relic of... Oh my gosh, you poor soul. So...
satisfying vertical progression linked to character power. Now for the
So he logged onto another character that had another 3 chests of free relics, and then he bought another relic of speed?
Have with Guild Wars 2. With horizontal progression being a major focus of the game, there's a lot of different stat combinations, and often you'll run a different set of gear not only for each type of content, but for each build. If you're a PvX...
So he has 85 gold, and he's spent at least 22 gold on relics of speed, and he didn't realize that he had basically 3 relics of speed on every single character on his account.
Player, your bags and bank are just gonna...
Same footage? If it was the same footage, then 11 gold, not 22.
...to be littered with gear, and this is the biggest thing that makes me want to quit Guild Wars 2 every time I play the game. I log in, I look at my inventory, see it clogged up with mostly useless shit, and I'm instantly pissed off.
So... a couple things here. Like, one, I immediately see a lot of gray items in his bag. If you walk over to a... Let me zip over here for a second. If you walk up to a merchant and hit sell junk, that gets rid of all the gray crap out of your bag. It will hunt it down and delete it. So I had one there, and one there, and then you could just squish that. Additionally, yes, the game is very generous with loot. So the Bag Wars 2 is a common meme in the game. You can upgrade your bags. I've got 400 slots. Now, obviously, the more and more bags is going to be, that's a thing that, having bags this large is people that have played a long time. But one, at least a third of that stuff in his inventory, that sell junk button would get rid of it. And the rest of it, you could upgrade your bags if you wish to do so.
What content do I want to do? World vs World? Okay, let's go over to Meta Battle and find a build. Oh wait, I don't have a gear set with those stats. Go to the trading post, buy a full set of gear plus runes plus sigils, the correct weapon, accessories, and now a relic. And I'm finally able to participate in my chosen content after dropping 50 to 100 gold. It's a massive barrier to entry for new players, and for existing players just to experiment with new types of content. Here's my suggestion. Literally remove gear from the game and allow players to just choose their stats and loadout from a menu similar to what's already available in SPVP. Gear in Guild Wars 2 has felt meaningless for years and is nothing more than a barrier to entry, as gear score and power doesn't increase with each expansion like a typical MMO. So when you get a piece of exotic or ascended gear in Guild Wars 2, you literally feel...
I'm glad the hot take label's at the top left. I'm gonna let him finish and then I'll talk.
Nothing. There's zero dopamine, you don't feel like you're getting stronger, it's just a set of alternate stats that might be useful for one of your builds at some point. You'll probably just throw it in the bank and forget about it. If Guild Wars 2 removed gear from the game and you could just build your character however you wanted with no barriers, not only would it be the most alt-friendly MMORPG in the entire genre, but I think it would greatly improve the new player experience and help attract more...
Okay, I can't wait till he finishes. All right, so real quick, let me touch on that. So again, this is a thing where he has experienced frustration with a mechanic, not realizing that there are answers to that frustration in the game. I think he just doesn't know about it. So, Peon, if you happen to see this later on. So in the game, there's a couple different things related to the gear thing. So first of all, I believe the reason that World v World does use your gear is because if it didn't, then people that worked very hard to get their equipment don't really have a PvP place they can show it off. In structured PvP, gear doesn't matter. In World v World, it does. But that also means you can go in there, you can put down a food feast, you can get the food buff, you can put down banner buffs, you can get in a group that is organized and really capitalize on every single benefit you can squeeze out of the game. Now, as far as having to get multiple sets of gear, there is a set of gear called legendary gear that's in the game, and it is, talk about dopamine hit. Getting this stuff is a dopamine hit. It takes a lot. It takes a lot of work to unlock. It's the top tier. The stats on it is tied with Ascended, but if you look at this, I can hit customize, and I can literally change my gear to be any gear in the game with a scroll bar. That does already exist, and also it's account wide. So if you get the legendary backpack, every single character on your account at the same time has it equipped. Note, I did not say it's tradable. You don't have to put it in the bank and move it between characters. At the same time, they all have that equipped. Additionally, as far as the tier below that is called Ascended Gear. Ascended Gear is right below Legendary. It has the same stats as Legendary, but it doesn't have the scroll bar. But you can change the stats on it with a crafting recipe. They cost a few gold each time you do it. So if you had a full set, I don't know if Peon has Ascended Gear here, but if he has Ascended Gear, he could have spent a couple of gold just to change the stats on his gear rather than buying an entirely new set off the trading post. And of course, the trading post isn't the only way to get gear either. You can craft it, you can get it from loot, stuff like that. Anyone who's been playing the game probably has extra sets of gear. I think that a lot of people would be really upset if they made World v World suddenly like structured PvP. Because I don't think it's a real barrier for entry. I think it's like a reward. Like, hey, because I got this new thing, I will now be a little bit more powerful in World v World, and that is exciting for me. I think that that's something that people can work toward and enjoy.
Players to the game. The entire sense of progression in Guild Wars 2 is already completionism, mastery, fashion collection, legendary crafting for the skins, and achievement.
So he mentioned legendary crafting for the skins, but legendary crafting fixes that gear issue that he mentioned a minute ago.
Achievement hunting. For me, I think the devs should just fully embrace horizontal progression, and instead of gear dropping with stats, gear just drops and gets added to your wardrobe automatically. This change, combined with account-wide completionism, would make me actually return to...
So he's basically describing the legendary armory right now, which again is in the game, which is when you get a legendary, all your characters can equip it at the same time. So if you get a legendary sword, every character on your account that has the ability to use swords can use it at the same time. That is already in the game, and it is an end game objective that you work toward.
To Guild Wars 2 as a main MMO, but in its current state, I think the new expansion is just basically more of the same without real...
He wrote, Secrets of the Obscure doesn't really add anything new to the game, so if you like Guild Wars 2 as it currently is, you'll like it. Otherwise, you can join me in the Guild Wars 3 waiting room. Oh, harsh. Guild Wars Secrets of the Obscure doesn't really add anything new to the game. I don't think it's that fair to say that when you didn't try Secrets of the Obscure other than like an hour of it. I'm not discounting the stuff he did try, but like he mentioned there's new fractals. He mentioned there's new strikes. He mentioned I think he did try a rift. I saw footage of a rift in there. So this statement is both true and false. He said that it doesn't really add anything new to the game. It did, but he didn't try most of it. And he says if you like Guild Wars 2 as it currently is, you'll like it. I think that statement is true. There didn't change the formula in a great way. So I think if you hated Guild Wars 2 before, you'll probably still not like it in Soto. But if you liked it before, there is more of that stuff you already like in Soto. I think that part of the statement is completely fair. As far as join me in the Guild Wars 3 waiting room, I think that's kind of a backhanded remark.
Really changing the core experience. Existing players will enjoy the new expansion, but I can't really see it doing much to attract new players. But that's it for this video. Let me know your thoughts on my admittedly hot take that Guild Wars...
So, stuff that they did to attract new players recently. Up until very recently, you didn't get a mount to move around quickly until max level. Recently, they made it to where at level 10, you got the mount for 10 hours to try it out. And then if you had purchased any of the Guild Wars 2 expansions, you got to keep that mount permanently after level 10. And your whole account got it from 10 plus on all your characters. So that made it much easier to get around for the new folks. Additionally, they have added some new tutorial type stuff to the early game. The Wizard's Vault, which gives everyone rewards, even level 1 players, giving them rewards that they can get some really cool stuff from there and things like that. What was the other thing he said? Hang on.
To attract new players. But that's it for this video. Let me know.
Oh, new players. So they made it to where if a new player, they made Secrets of the Obscure in mind, knowing some people will buy it, they will not have played Heart of Thorns, Path of Fire, End of Dragons, and they'll jump straight into Secrets of the Obscure. And so what they did is early in Secrets of the Obscure, there are some quests that really are there to teach you basics, things like combos and stuff like that. And they did the same thing with End of Dragons. They made it with those people in mind, that there's going to be some people that have not played any of the old content, they just bought the game and they'll skip right in. They actually did a pretty solid job of doing that, compared to how they did it in Heart of Thorns and Path of Fire. Heart of Thorns and Path of Fire, they were like, yo, welcome to the jungle! And then, just flat on your back and there's 100 raptors eating your corpse. Like, they did a lot more for the new player experience in SOTO and EOD than they did on the first two.
Your thoughts on my admittedly hot take that Guild Wars 2 should just remove gear entirely? Would this also make you want to return to the game? If you're
As someone who actively plays the game, it would make me want to play less. Granted, he said it's a hot take. He knows some people are going to have negative feedback on that. Again, structured PvP is where you go if you don't want to level a character but want to enjoy PvP. World v World is where you want to go if you want larger scale PvP, or if you want your efforts in, detailing your character to be able to show fruit on other people. If you want to be able to like show off your new legendary weapon by shooting another player in the face with it, World v World's the place you do that. If you took that away, there would literally be no place in the game where you can take, hard-earned equipment, or, the chefs could come in and put down feast and battle. There's so many things that you could do World v World you can't do in PvP, structured PvP. I don't think they should remove that.
Existing player, are you enjoying the new expansion? Help us out with a like to appease the algorithm gods, and to also pray that ArenaNet are secretly developing Guild Wars 3. Social media on screen. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
So yeah, I love LazyPeon. Look, I mean, I've watched so many of his videos. I think this one was... Hi, Laura. I think this one was a bit of a miss. I feel like as someone who enjoys his content and has played 8,000 hours of Guild Wars 2 and has made 100 guides for Guild Wars 2, this really felt to me like he played an hour of the new expansion, then he went and did old PvP, and he went and did old World v World, and then made this video. And a lot of his thoughts are completely fair, but again, a lot of the stuff that he said he had frustrations with, there are answers to those problems in the game. The thing with the waypoints, the thing with legendary gear, the relics being expensive, and he had 9 of them in his character's bags, stuff like that. His bags being cluttered, and he just had to hit the sell junk button. That would have cured half of it. Not having enough bag space, you can build bigger bags. Like, a lot of the stuff he mentioned, there is solutions for if you want them. But yeah, that's it. Anyway, Peon, if this happens to reach your ears, I do love your work, really do. I just wanted to say my piece on this because this was something I knew a lot about. And yeah, I've mentioned this in another video. I've got another video called Is Guild Wars 3 being developed right now? I made that one a month or two ago. I would be pleasantly surprised. Recently, there was a job listing at ArenaNet where they mentioned that they were looking for someone to do, I believe their words were, they were looking for someone with experience in Unreal Engine to help on a new project in an already established, world. And so a lot of people are like, oh, is that Guild Wars 3? Is that Guild Wars 3? Like, there has been a lot of guesswork on that. IP, thank you, Jackals. So there is some people thinking it might happen. I, for one, would not be surprised if it was something completely unrelated. And the reason for that is, again, I played EverQuest when EverQuest 2 came out, and a lot of the moment they announced EverQuest 2, EverQuest immediately lost tens of thousands of subscribers because people are like, oh, why am I playing this game if the sequel's coming out soon? They did a very poor job of, announcing that. Now, Guild Wars 1 and Guild Wars 2 are completely different games, but there is a reward system in Guild Wars 2 that rewards you based on how much stuff you unlock to Guild Wars 1. If they make a Guild Wars 3, they need to announce it in such a way that they don't because Guild Wars 2 is ArenaNet's main source of income. They're all in on that. So if they kill that income in some way, their business would be in trouble. So if they announce Guild Wars 3, they need to do so in a way that's very tactful. And it says, we're making Guild Wars 3, however, don't worry, for every piece of legendary gear you have in Guild Wars 2, you're going to get something in Guild Wars 3. I don't know, something. Just some kind of carry-over progression, just a little thing, so that people don't feel like, oh, well, why play this now? I might as well uninstall until the new thing comes out, because otherwise, that's going to be an issue, and we're going to see that happen all over again. So if it happens, I hope they can do it with some kind of carryover tactful system. And if it's something else, I wouldn't be surprised. Because again, ArenaNet has been all in. A couple years ago, they had to fire like 100 staff. And it was a rough time for them. They've come back from that. They've bounced back really good. But they canceled all other projects at that time. They are all in on Guild Wars 2. And they're not focused on anything else that we know of publicly at this time. So, all right, that's it. Thanks for watching. I will have a link to his video down below if you want to see it, if you want to give him feedback, anything like that. Again, no hate toward him. This is just something I disagreed with his take, and I wanted to give another side to it. All right, catch you next time.